John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Every once in a while, I like to go on Amazon and just check out some generic, really super budget broadheads and see how they perform. And recently a buddy pointed one out to me that looks like a broadhead that I really like and use a lot. Okay, I'm not going to mention the name. And so I ordered a pack of these and want to see how they perform. So I'm going to put them to the test with all the tests I'm using for 2022, using my Bowtech SR6 set at 72 pounds, and I'm using Bishop FOC King arrows for most of the testing, but then also the Bishop Fat Eliminators for the really hard impact shots. So let's zoom on in here and check out this generic head. Here's a good look at this generic head, and specifically called the Archery Mechanical Broadhead 100 grain 2-inch cut rear deploy locking pivoting blades for crossbow and compound bow for hunting 3-pack. That's all the title, and it's just generic on Amazon. So if you're looking on Amazon, that's what you're going to look up. And somebody pointed this out to me, and so every once in a while I like to check a generic head and see how it performs and how good it is and everything. It's definitely in the budget price category. So I ordered a pack of these and thought I would check them out. You notice that it doesn't spin that great, okay, out of the package. It's got a slight wobble to it. The total cut on it is 2 inches in the open position. The stainless steel blades are 0.035 inches thick. And they're 2-blade, and then the ferrule is a 70-75 aluminum, and you see it has this kind of groove to it to give it a little bit of extra durability. As well, it's got a pretty sleek profile. I'm not sure how that's going to perform in a hard impact or an angled impact shot, but we're going to find out. So the way it works is there's no O-rings or anything. I really like that. Is upon impact, the pressure hits right here, and then these blades are forced back just by friction, and they're pretty hard to open, to be honest. They're forced back into their open position, and then they lock in their open position like that. So they're locked like that in the full 2 inches of cut. So I like that about them. And then they swing like this if they hit a hard impact, similar to what another broadhead, not going to mention the name, does. However, they don't swing very freely. And so I imagine if it hits something like that, it takes a lot of force to get the blades back. So I'm not sure how that's really going to work in a real-world application. We're going to have to see as we test it. So that's the broadhead, and those are the materials, and that's how it functions. Oh, and to close it, it's similar to other broadheads that you just press down on one of the blades, slide it under the other, and then you can close it on out. But I'm eager to see how this generic mechanical 2-blade performs. $250. It penetrated 7 1/8 inches. And it's interesting that the blades opened pretty well on impact, and then the top blade kind of closed as it went through the MDF and the rubber foam mat. And then you can see it kind of start to reopen, and it reopened for a couple inches, and then it started to close about 1.5 inches before the broadhead came to rest. And the bottom blade was open on impact and stayed open for the first couple inches in the gel, and then it closed for the remaining like 3.5 inches of the gel. $400. It penetrated through 51 layers, but I will note that the blades only partially opened through that entire penetration. This was really interesting. On the initial impact, the blades opened almost fully, 1 3/4 inches. But then by the back of the box, it looked like one of the blades just shrunk quite a bit. I mean, the total cut went down to 1 1/4 inches. And then I figured out why, because there was a blade lying on the floor. Okay, it never actually even made it into the target. It broke off after going through the box. And so this isn't really a durability part of the test, because it's not much of a challenge, but something just caused that blade to break off in the cardboard. Now, unlike that previous test, the Broadhead did great through 3 shots of the MDF. The blades were in very good condition. And it did fairly well through the steel plate. The blades got a bit nicked up, the ferrule got pretty scratched up, and the blades did bend just a little bit. And you can see that here in the steel plate, the holes. It made pretty good holes, but you can see the one in the upper left kind of looks like a single bevel head, and that's just because those blades bent a bit. Those little wing butts of the blades, the opposite side of the blades, bent, and so they caused a bit of a kind of an S cut like that. So this was all that was left of this Broadhead. Man, it like really exploded. I never found one of the blades. I just don't even know where it is. This was one of the most explosive heads I've ever seen in this regard. It just could not handle that kind of an impact. It did relatively well through the MDF and the steel plate, but definitely could not handle that 0 penetration test. So what do you think of this generic head? You know, it has its merit. It actually scored relatively well. It surprised me in how well it opened, and some of the durability features of it really surprised me and impressed me. But then there's like these inconsistencies, and that's what you get with, generic heads sometimes like that. And there's just inconsistencies in how well each of the blades would open or remain open, or even in the durability. So it's not going to find its way into my quiver, but if you're looking for a good budget Broadhead, it may be a good fit for you. So check out the score sheet and see how it performed in each of the areas that matter to you the most, and stay tuned for the overall cumulative score as well as the composite Lusk grade.